and the NRP candidates as they amplify your voice.
Good evening. It's another Monday night. I'm Stevenson Manners, host of Your Voice with the NRP. It's Monday, January 19th, and you know what that means? It's the 40th installment of Martin Luther King Day. And guess what? Guess who's with me? Rowan Isles. He has drawn similarities to the great American orator. And he's going to be here for the next 90 minutes. And you know what, Rohan? When the deputy leader of the NRP was here for the last time in 2025, she did a quiz where we gave away chickens, hams, turkeys, and all that sort of stuff. And she asked a question of each constituency, pertaining to each constituency. And you know what the question was for the great parish and constituency of St. Thomas's, Nevis 5? How does Rowan Isles introduce himself on the political platform? So since you're here for the first time this year, give us an encore.
Good night. Good night, Steve. You can hear me?
I'm hearing you well. I think you have to make an adjustment with your headphones.
My headphones, all right.
Yeah, and then we're good to go.
All right, Steve, good night to you. Good night to our listeners. Good night. My name is Rohan Michael Isles. How can I help?
And we hear that all along on the political platform, and I suspect that we're going to hear it many times in 2026. Is it that you seriously studied the style of Martin Luther King, who we celebrate today? Or is it all natural?
It's all natural, Steve. I guess I just happen to fit into that particular style of presentation, but it's all natural, and the slogan or the opening phrase of how can I help really generated from a television show that I was watching, and the doctor at his initial introduction asked how he can help, and I thought that was inspiring and fitting, and so I have used that over the past years as my introduction to my presentations.
Well, we're so glad to have you. You're in for the first time. It's our third show for the year. We've had J.D. Keynes, of course, leading the way, and then last week we had the Deputy Party Leader, Dr. Patricia Bartlett. How have things been going for 2026 so far?
It's been good on all fronts. A new year, granted new opportunities to make necessary changes in whatever areas that...
I want you to get right into that microphone. It's
not hearing me?
I'm hearing you, but I want you to speak directly into it. We've got
clear?
unidirectional mics here, so we want you to go loud and clear.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good, 18, 19 days?
Today is the 19th.
19th?
Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, 19 days, and so we have had the opportunity very early to restart our house-to-house initiative, and so we've been in Kodak Road over the past week, and so that is something we're going to continue throughout the constituency as we make every effort to meet the constituents and to, as we would have said, how can I help in whatever way, and we would have already begun to make certain moves in certain areas in terms of being able to assist people. As a matter of fact, on Saturday of this week we recommence our Soup Saturdays program, and so we are on the move in terms of what we're doing in constituency number 5.
Okay. Well, I want you to hold it there for a minute. We'll go more into what's happening in the constituency after this. We're expecting a call from Carleen Lawrence, who've got some party news for us. So, Carleen, I know you're standing by your radio. Give us a ring, please. And here she goes. Very reliable as usual. Good evening, Carleen. Happy New Year.
Good evening. Good evening. Happy New Year to you, Mr. Manners, and to Mr. Isles, and the listening audience. to Your Voice. Thank you for the opportunity to join you, even though a little brief tonight.
We
It's always a
plenty of
pleasure.
opportunities down the road. We're going to do things in 2026. Yes.
Yes, thank you, thank you. So I just wanted to take a quick moment to just let everyone know, all of the listeners know, that the St. George constituency group will be presenting its Valentine's Sunset Cruise cocktail. This is the second year to do so, and it will take place on February 15th aboard the Prince Javante, commonly known as the party boat. And so we are seeking the support. Last year, I think we had a really, really nice event. And so those persons who would have missed last year would now have an opportunity to join us this time around. Tickets are available. Tickets are $150 for single, $275 for couple. And as you can see, those who are really good with doing maths quickly, if you can join up with a friend. It doesn't have to be boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife situation. If you see an opportunity to save $1, you can join up with a friend and purchase your ticket that way. Tickets are available from any group member in Gingerland. We also have some tickets down on the waterfront at Pass Snacket as well, which might be convenient for some persons. So I just want to encourage all of us to get your tickets early and be a part of the fun event. We have Odyssey Band and the Rec Life Movement sound system, DJ sound system. So it should be a wonderful time. Your, of course, food is included. Good company is included. Your sale is included. So, get on board as quickly as possible.
Okay, now last year, as you said, this is the second edition of that. Last year we did not make it out of port on Valentine's Day because the weather was very choppy. And I think, if I remember correctly, it was held on March 16th. The weather is similarly very choppy. As a matter of fact, a fisherman said to me, that is January and normally February weather, very choppy seas. Have you spoken to the gods to make sure that we will be able to leave port on February 15th, I think it is? Yeah.
Well, the one God that has control of the weather, I've been speaking to him constantly. So, yes. So, as you know, we make our very best educated guesses as far as weather is concerned. It has to get closer to the date where to really know, we're looking at the 15th. Right now it's a bit choppy on most of the southern side, but the Caribbean seaside is pretty calm, and that is usually where we would be with our sail. So as far as the weather go, of course we would use wisdom as time gets closer. If we have to make changes, then we have to make changes for the safety of all of us. But I am speaking to my Father, and I believe that He will smile upon us with favor. So we will proceed anticipating good weather, until something happens otherwise. Then we make the adjustments accordingly.
Yeah, we're all God-fearing people. So give us the logistics again. Time, date, cost.
15th February. We plan to sail at 5 p.m. because it's a sunset sail. So boarding begins at 4:30. The cost is $150 per person. $150 per person, $275 for couples. Persons can call me 661-6277 to get their tickets. They can also call 661-2271. One of our other members has tickets as well, and tickets are already available downtown at Pass Snacket on the waterfront.
All right. Now that we have you on the line, I'm going to switch to something. Your favorite politician in the Caribbean and mine, Miss Barbados. You know what I'm talking about. Dame Mia Motley on Saturday announced that Barbadians will go to the polls on February 11th. That's Valentine's week. Huh? And they're going 1 year early. And we know that St. Kitts and Nevis must go at some time as well. People are already predicting that it will be in 2026. I think we'll have a federal election between Independence and December, for sure, from a federal level. The Prime Minister would be loath to go further than that. It will show that he is not confident. So, on the last two shows in which Dr. Patricia Bartlett was here, our friend from Montserrat asked, what's happening in St. George's Gingerland in terms of selecting a candidate? What can you tell us about the process and how close are we?
Okay, I would say that we are close. We have been, advertising and fielding for interested persons who would like to, as we would say, throw their hat in the ring and offer themselves to serve the constituency, to serve the island in that capacity. We have had some very good responses from some persons, but our party, we have a process in place, and so that process is being followed. Any persons with interest would send their resume, their letter of interest, and then the constituency would meet with them, do an interview, and then write an opinion and forward it to our selection committee on our executive end. So I know that we are pretty close, and so a decision would, from what I am aware of, would be made soon enough. I mean, but if somebody, because a lot of times, Mr. Manners, as you know, we tend to, as Nivision, stay in the background and we just look on. But somebody who is in the background and looking on might very well feel like this is something they might want to do as well, And so if such a person is listening and they feel like they want to offer themselves up, they can do that as well and send their information. The information is normally sent to the chairperson, the constituency chair, which would be myself in the case of St. George's. But we are getting very close. St. George's, although a caretaker hasn't been decided upon as yet, we are very active in St. George's, as many of the listeners would know. So we are staying in touch with the people in the meantime. We are doing our part. We have our monthly breakfast. We participate in all the events of our party, and we keep our people engaged because we are very much a part of the process. So, it may not be a nice position to say, well, okay, we're the only ones that don't have a caretaker at this point, but that is coming in short order. And so once a decision is made, we are ready to hit the ground running, because I know that the people of St. George's are basically fed up with the lack of concern and lack of care that we receive currently. We are tired of the excuses, government don't have no money, is the constant cry we hear from the current administration as it relates to St. George's. We've had enough of that, and so I know that we would hit the ground running. So have no fear, St. George's is very much in the race, Mr. Manners. I hope I answered.
Yeah, you did. And I want to thank you very much for being so candid. And I want to commend you on the year you had last year. I consider you as Citizen of the Year for 2025. And of course, you've done many things, but the major thing which you did on July 10th at the Hanley's Road Community Center, where you held the Premier's feet to the fire. He's been limping ever since. He limped for the last 5 months of the year, 2025, and today, it's the 19th of January, he's flown off to Spain again.
Oh my.
Yeah, I heard that on the evening news. Left on Sunday, coming back on Friday, missing every Wednesday. Last week we had a notice as well. He had gone to America, didn't tell us too much about what he had gone for. He's been basically missing in action and really have not come to the people. And it's all because what you did on July 10th. So we want you to, everybody, to remember that date, July 10th. And remember the name, Carleen Lawrence. And it's all because of this. Take a listen.
You have come to the town hall meeting. You have premised a whole debate tonight on some rumor that you say you have been hearing. I don't know how am I supposed to respond to that. I respond to facts. I respond to situations that we are aware of that are on the ground. I said to you that the government has had no formal proposal setting out any project of the kind that you've described.
But that wasn't my question.
I've said that 3 times. And every time I've told you that you're going back to say what you hear, your rumor, what you hear.
I didn't ask if the government had a proposal before it, I asked to please explain to the people or to shed some light on what we are hearing.
But how can I shed light on what you are hearing?
So you don't know?
I don't even know where you're hearing it from.
Okay, you don't know, and it's unfortunate, Mr. Premier, that you don't know as the leader of the island.
Could you give somebody else the mic, please?
You should know as something.
We would have heard what you had to say, Ms. Lawrence.
Mr. Scarborough.
Please, give somebody else the mic.
Mr. Scarborough, this is a democratic island, we say, right? You don't have to agree with me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have commandeered the mic on the basis of a rumor that you have heard. I don't even know. Is your neighbors give you the rumor? You heard it on radio? Where did the rumor come from?
We know. I ain't even trying to let you lead me down that road, but all of us know where party come from.
We have a town hall where the government is seeking to engage with the public. You have insisted on engaging us all night on the basis of what you describe.
Mr. Brantley.
You describe as rumors.
I'm asking if there's any truth to it, because you should know. You're saying there's no proposal before government for development in the area.
Yes.
I accept that.
Okay.
But then you should know what is happening or what is said to be happening, and then you should be able to shed some light on what is going on. So I was only asking in the interest of the people that to make sure that we are not cut off from being able to use the Atlantic coast, right? And who is offended, I owe no apology to.
So,
right?
Ms. Lawrence, not about people.
I want to know because I want to be able to use the shoreline, so I'm asking.
And if there is any development that we need to engage in with the public, we will. I have been trying to answer you all night, and no matter how I try to answer you, keep coming back to what you hear.
Okay.
What you've been hearing. I am not in the same circles as you. I don't know what you're hearing. I can only respond to what we know as government that has been presented to us, and that is what I can speak to. So if, again, I say, I were to speak to every rumor that this island generates, I would have no time to actually do work.
I understand and I agree. The conclusion to your response then, sir, is that you don't know what is happening and you don't know anything about what could be happening in that area. Thank you.
Well, else, 21 days after, we had the SSZ, and then we had intense discussion, radio programs, social media posting, lawyers getting involved. And when we came towards the end of the year, he said he was inclined to sign the Destiny Agreement. And basically, we're 19 days in since the Premier's New Year's Day message. We haven't heard the word Destiny. What's going on?
I wish I knew.
Hey, all right, well, I think Carleen is still on the line.
I'm still here. A lot has happened since that evening, and I think that just the whole exchange, people need to keep our eyes open and really be listening and paying close attention to what's going on in our island and what's going on in our country, and make our voices heard for our future generations. So I will leave you and Mr. Isles now, Mr. Manners. Mm-hmm. So thank you once again for the opportunity, and I just will continue to listen and wish you and Mr. Isles a very good evening as you continue to share the information and enlighten our people.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining. We're going to take a break for technical matter. More technician, could you give me a call at the moment? We've got a little glitch we've got to work out.
Your voice with the NRP. This and every Monday, 8:30 to 10 p.m. Join host Stephen Semanas and the NRP candidates as they amplify your voice. Your voice with the NRP. This and every Monday, 8:30 to 10 p.m. Join host Stephen Semanas and the NRP candidates as they amplify your voice.
Well, we're still not sorted, but we're back with you. As I said, we're having a little bit of a glitch. Okay, I think the technician has been on. As a matter of fact, he's trying to call me, but you're all right?
Yes, I'm
okay.
good now.
We'll just tell Lawson he's listening that we're all right as I end this call.
Right.
Okay, Lawson, we're good now. Thank you for coming to our rescue. It's a very important week in our island's history and in world history. Tomorrow is the 20th. It marks the first anniversary of the return to office in the United States of Donald J. Trump. And of course, his reign so far has been having some very serious implications for the Caribbean, and of course that includes St. Kitts Nevis. Then on Thursday, the CCM administration enters its 13th year in office, 1-3. We'll have to try and find out whether they've done much in that period of time, an extended period of time. Mm-hmm. And basically, they have spent 8 years, 8 months, and 20 days trying to complete the Alexandria Hospital. And I've been teasing this question for the second half of the year. We eventually asked it one evening when J.D. Keynes appeared and somebody won. I think it was a ham. A ham. That's way before Christmas or just before Christmas. And the fact is that the Alexandria Hospital, tomorrow, the 20th, quadruples the length of time it took the Eiffel Tower to be constructed in France. Now, the Eiffel Tower is one of the wonders. If you go to Paris, and maybe the Premier in Spain will put in his binoculars and have a look at the Eiffel Tower, 330 meters tall, about the same height as an 81-story building, and taller than the Washington Monument for those who have been to the United States Capitol. The Alexandria Hospital Auxiliary Wing was supposed to be the nerve center of the Alexandria Hospital, and it has so far taken 8 years as of tomorrow, 8 months and 20 days. The Eiffel Tower took 2 years, 2 months and 5 days. And as I say, it is one of the wonders of Paris, France. Of course, there's the River Seine, there's the Champs-Élysées. My Spanish is not that great. And the Louvre Museum, one of the greatest museums in the world. So those are some of the things we have to weave into our discussion tonight. The dubious record which Alexandra Hamilton Hospital Auxiliary Wing achieves tomorrow, quadrupling the length of time of the Eiffel Tower. The impact that Trump is having on the Caribbean, we know that on the 21st, there is a freeze on immigration processes for 75 countries, including St. Kitts and Nevis. And we know there is the issue of deportees. So those three issues we have to bear in mind. Trump, Alexander Hospital Auxiliary Wing, and the fact that on Thursday, the CCM enters its 13th year. It has been in office for a mighty long time. Can they do like Mayor Motley and with confidence ask for continuity, as she called on Saturday night an election 1 year early? Your thoughts on any of those three and in any order?
You talk about the wonders of the world, and Alexandra Hospital, that auxiliary wing, might be a wonder, but not
for a good reason.
Not for a good reason. I think continually outside of the SSC, the Alexandra Hospital continues to be one of those topics that our citizens are constantly asking about and concerned about. And even as recently as last week, in conversation with some of our constituents, that is bread and butter topic. And the issue of fear of having the unfortunate circumstances of being ill and nervous. And people are sharing real concerns in terms of that particular project. And when I speak about the Alexandria Hospital, for me, constantly, I tell you I am more concerned about what the impact on human life, the impact on families, what the facility should have meant and would have meant for our people. And so much the cost and the physical structure, but that human impact. And when you look at hospital facilities globally and regionally, diagnostic is critical. It is the important part. It is the nerve center of hospital administration, because in order to be able to provide solution, you must have a diagnosis. And that is what concerns me and bothers me most, is that it was touted as a diagnostic wing. And we are seeing the challenges we are having now without that. I mean, I don't know how many people recognize that for a while the MRI was down at the Alexandria Hospital. And so, just like the human brain is critical to the central nervous system, which maintains the normal functions of the body, the diagnostics of a hospital is critical to its work. It eliminates a lot of the guesswork and the general medicine, because you get into the specifics of what is wrong or what is possibly wrong with the patient. And so that has been a serious issue, a critical issue, because we have spent quite a bit of money on that particular project, and the project should, by their indication, should have really been
24 months. It was scheduled to be completed in 24 months.
We have gone 4 times that and have not been able to deliver that particular project. People, I think in this sense now, a lot of people have moved from when will it finish to why not just do a brand new facility. That has come up time and time again in conversation as well. Have we considered scrapping that and going from scratch and providing a totally new facility, of course, one that will finish on time and on budget. And so that is something that has been placed in the arc of conversation.
Take a pause for this call. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Your Voice with the NRP with Ronald.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, good evening.
And a bright and prosperous, healthy, happy New Year's wish to you, Rohan. And
Thank you.
as I listen to the conversation, I'm wondering, coming up to the next election, if the Premier is going to facilitate the Nibijans with, what must call it, putting in beds and equipment for the in time for the next election. Remember, he had it painted up and fixed up leading up to the last election. And I'm hoping the Nibijans abroad who usually come home to vote will not forgive him, because that is the highest form of deception. And I think they are very disappointed in him, because you came to Nevis, you were carried up Government Road to see this hospital, and everybody was hopeful because it's good for whether you're NRPC or you don't vote. We want facilities. And for him now to be showing what was then and what is now, I saw him show the treasury, the old treasury, and what it is now, and the police station in your castle, what it was and what it is now. And I was hoping he'd have put up the new wing that he promised us. Is it 8 years ago, or close to 8 years?
Close to what? This thing started on May 31st, 2017. It's 8 years, 8 months, and 20 days tomorrow.
Oh my. Oh my. Well, I was looking to see if he was going to put up what is and what was with the hospital. And conveniently, he didn't remember to put it up. But I'm calling on the Nibijans abroad to remember the deception coming from the guy who you voted for the last time. Good night and goodbye.
Hi, good night. Good night. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, very important point in terms of the deception, and I think what the caller was saying is another level to the deception next time around. It is truly unfortunate that we're moving on to 9 years. People understand 9 years, and you look at what would have transpired globally in 9 years, even in terms of manufacturing. The 2 largest ships in the world were created in that space, and it did not take them 4 or 5 years to do that. And so it goes back to the financial mismanagement of our resources, and the inability of this government to demonstrate a willingness to complete projects that are set to be beneficial to the people of Nevis. And we can continually go back to the list of projects that were promised and not completed. And I this point in time in our particular movement, you look at the NRP's record of completing projects. We have set projects in motion, set targets, and delivered our projects on time and on budget. And that is a hallmark of our party's time in government. And so we want the public, as the caller would have said, whether you're supporting NRP system or you don't vote at all, something as critical as healthcare must be at the forefront of your mind, and what a completed project of that nature would have meant or would mean to the people of Nevis can't be understated. And there is so many questions that can be asked, and there are many what ifs, and unfortunately for a lot of people, they are not around in any capacity to understand or to hear the answers to the what ifs. And so that should not escape the voters. I know many people would have voted on that particular topic, issue in the last election, and I suspect more people are going to join that list of voting against the administration for its inability to complete that particular project. And so, Steve, some people, may seem a little quiet on the hospital this year, but I can guarantee you people are
hearing it out there.
People are still very much in tune, and that is a question. One of the interesting things about canvassing, you get questions, and you get the questions, and there's that desire for an answer, for that firm response, as opposition. What is happening? And it's okay, because we understand the concerns of our people, and we have said to them, listen, our best answer is to get into government and to demonstrate that we are a different type of political party. This particular NRP is intentional about its service to people. It is intentional about providing quality healthcare service and other things that are critical to that positive life experience. That is why people vote. Critically, people vote to enhance their life experiences, and so that is what we are continually sharing with our people when we have conversations. And so, as I said, that is there. It's still there. As I said, people are saying, "Man, listen, you might have to just shun that particular project and start anew." And there are different ideas that are coming to the fore. One lady said, "Why not just do something new and transform what is there now, expand it in terms of the flamboyant home and its services?" And then there are many conversations that come from that in terms of how our brothers and sisters who are in their retirement age would like to come home at the services that they require in terms of health care. They can't come home because it's not here on Ireland. And so if we are to invest in that particular space in terms of having the necessary health infrastructure, many people can come home to live out the rest of their lives in a place they love, in a place they call home. And so it's conversation is multidimensional, and is not just focused on what we were expecting, but we have moved into a new realm as to what is possible in terms of providing quality health care for our people, Steve, in terms of that. Donald Trump.
Don't move to that as yet. Let's dwell on the hospital a little bit, because time overrun is well documented.
Yeah.
Far too long.
Yep.
24 months time for.
Yep.
And the Premier, his favorite excuse was that has not impacted on health care. We have doctors, many doctors in several disciplines, until we told them that's a non-excuse. Because, so why did you build it?
Yeah,
or decide to build it in the first place?
The doctors were there, right?
So there is opportunity cost. The people on dialysis feel that every day or 3 days per week, because they have to travel to St. Kitts, and there was supposed to be a dialysis center. So there's opportunity loss as well. I have attended 3 funerals in the last 10 days and a couple more pending. I'm not saying they're all dying because the diagnostic wing is not completed. But we have long questioned the rate at which people are dying on Nevis. As a matter of fact, Dr. Patricia Bartlett has called for studies to be done into our healthcare system. People are dropping like flies. The other thing is cost overruns. This was started at 19 million, and again he tried to say that money has not been used up as yet, but of course we know 12 million was budgeted. So that takes it to 31. estimates have come in from people in the construction industry, which says by the time this is completed, it will be 50 million. As a matter of fact, we heard a long time ago, but the Premier cannot come to terms with that. You mentioned there have been recommendations that they break it down and start afresh. And then there's the other matter of funding gaps. During the discussions leading up to the end of the year, we were told that Destiny will fund that and other healthcare facilities. Things have been very quiet. Everybody in Nevis knows that Destiny is not our destiny. Premier has been flying off on a weekly basis. 19 days in, no information on whether he has signed or not. And Dr. Patricia Bartlett sat in that seat early in January in 2025, looked me in the eye and said not a thing will happen at the Alexandria Hospital in 2025. My eyes bulged open. I said, "Are you serious?" She said, "I'm dead serious." Based on all the prevailing circumstances, what's your best bet that what may happen for the Alexandria Hospital? The fact that there is a funding gap, which he belatedly related to us, and Janssen was supposed to fill that gap. We haven't heard from Janssen. We haven't heard from Brantley.
Yeah, I mean, I probably have to update my latest prediction. I did say in 2025, nothing before 2027.
Let's see what this caller has to say. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Your Voice with Rowan Isles.
Mr. Manners, good night.
Aye, good night. Good night.
Good night.
Minister Isles, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man.
Mr. Manners, don't get in New Year already.
Yeah, man. I get it twice. 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Mr. Manners, she called in, leave opinion tonight. She did not come in, she called in.
Yeah, yeah. She Carlene, and her name is Carlene. Oh, yeah, you're a good poet, man.
You live opinion. Carlin, good night. Mr. Manners, let me say good night to all the listeners. But here what we want to ask. You give me bad news last week, you give me bad news this week.
You mean
So,
you mean with the... Go ahead.
Night, people look forward to the night, you know. All of your Vietnam, you know. You want a friend, Premier Bradley. And why the kid took me out, or why actually be?
Third Wednesday coming up in 2 days, and he has not appeared. The Premier has been missing in action, flying to distant lands every week. And in the meantime, Mr. Eric Evelyn, whose major contribution to his constituency, the constituency of Carlin Lawrence, is playing a greater. He's acting Premier again for the third time for 2026.
Oh, yeah, great.
He plays in a band. That's his major contribution to Gingerland. Playing in the sweetest string band in the Federation, the Honeybees, and winding up with it as well. Yeah, he's a greater man.
Great music.
And that's Grater. There's no E in there.
Okay. But here, so I'm going to ask now. The loan to the hospital, what has been grant?
The money came from the SIDF. $19 million.
Okay. So that's a money that not pay back.
No. That's our money. That's our share from the CBI program. Yeah.
So that's the passport money.
Yeah.
Right. But not because of the passport money. Accountability.
That's the key word.
Yes. Because you see, this is the thing. If you can give an account do something, why should me now still fund you? Why should me still some money down crab hole?
That's what exactly has been happening.
You get the point? So then you show me now that you know responsible somebody. So you see all this now you have to put together now for the voters. If I look at my election here, it's a serious this joking it. You have to, some way, somehow, you have to get to the voters and let them see seriousness from joking it. You get that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. So and Ron never put it on the spot. So now Ginger and candidate jump out. Need you run for work close to Gingerland candidate, and please, let me talk to Gingerland people here. When you go back to Gingerland and support the candidate, remind Gingerland people that they reject you. You're afraid. And ask them what them get in return. All right? Okay?
Yep.
Noted.
All right.
Noted on
Okay.
that.
May you listen on in case anything make out.
Yes.
Okay, then.
Thank you very much. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the team is waiting for that candidate, whoever the candidate is, whoever the caretaker is. I know you're out there and you're probably having a little bit of apprehension. You want to get in, but you have some concerns. I mean, you can speak to any of the current caretakers. We are approachable people, and we are willing to listen, to share whatever nuggets of information and encouragement we can with you. And so we are definitely looking forward to that individual, to work with that individual, and to do our best to give Nevis 3 St. George the best possible representation going forward. Critical in the caller's comments was accountability. And you said something early, and 19 million, and we were told that 12 million was spent. So where is the 7 million?
But that is one of, I'm not sure we got the figures right here, but he has been at pains at saying that money has not been used up. He must understand, well, they're holding it.
But why?
But after 8 years, and you factor in inflation, the cost goes up. Steel, lumber, cement, everything has gone up.
Construction costs, everything goes up.
So those are issues he has to face if and when he gets this project going.
I mean,
that is why I tell you that the projection is 50 million to get that building completed. And that doesn't include equipment, appliances, which must go inside before it can do the work for which it is intended.
Yeah, I mean, my point is, we got 19 million. That is what we know. He has said 19 million hasn't been spent. It's around $12 million. I'll bet you my last dollar that there's no $7 million anywhere waiting.
That's gone in other areas, you're saying?
And we have seen that in terms of how this government operates. When you look at having access to more than $1.7 billion, and you can't complete projects, you can't boost the economy, you can't diversify the economy, where is the money? Remember the last time we asked, he said that we were walking and driving on it.
Oh, the roads.
Yeah. $1.7 billion in roads. And we are supposed to believe that is where all of that money went. Steve, a lot of that money went into paying government salaries because country isn't providing or making enough to pay its own wage bill. And so the subsistence that comes over from St. Kitts, a lot of that is used up to pay salaries.
And that, of course, moves from 66 million in the last couple of years to...
What, 25?
No. Is it 40 something?
40 something? Less, yeah, it's less 20 something billion.
Yeah.
And that has been the problem. Little or no wiggle room in terms of financing, and so he's always looking to move something from this place to that place to facilitate the
robbing Peter to pay Paul, that sort of thing,
and hoping for some stability. And so accountability is critical. And you say 50 million, and I hope people understand that 50 million is base. Because as you would have said, we haven't added the finishing touches, and we know how finishing touches go when it comes to construction. And I think part and parcel of why people are asking or suggesting that as an incoming government we may need to rethink completing the extension and investing that kind of money in a brand new facility. And that is unfortunate that 8 years. I mean, that's
a long time.
8 years. You know, my son turns 8 this year. So you can imagine.
So he wasn't born when the Alexandria Hospital Auxiliary Wing started.
No, he was born in 2018. and the reality is, I mean, when you look at that space of time, the memories that have been created and the events that have been, and that is a lifetime of things. And so you're saying that it has taken a lifetime to complete a facility that should have only taken 2 years, and then we don't get, and every single time there is some justification that plays on human emotion, because that is what he's good at. And he draws the human emotion into the argument, and so people may feel a little sorry for him. The quantity surveyor who never produced work but took money, and we did nothing to regain or to retake our money, and then the quantity surveyors that said, listen, you need to not continue with this, but because they were of certain origin, they held no merit for him. And then to go back now and to get another set, and I don't know about you, but I haven't heard what the details of the reports are on that. And I mean, I think we're going to soon start to have to call him the report collector, because he collects and just holds on to. And these reports are the people's reports. And we ought to know. You keep harping on these things as the reason why you're unable to complete the facility. Then share the contents and give people actual facts, so that they can decipher whether you are being honest or being dishonest in terms of why we are in the position we are in. You talk about funding gaps. What is it that he can't find? Anybody to fund.
Well, we know they have overextended themselves. The Colleen, and I asked her that question deliberately, said that we're close.
We're close.
In St. George's. Mayor Motley put her final piece to the puzzle just over the weekend. I think it's the city center, Bridgetown. And immediately went to the Westbury. It's amazing how names repeat themselves across the Caribbean. She went to the Westbury Primary School to announce the election. But everybody knows it's easy picking, because she has had 30-0 on two occasions, and now looking for a third term and having the confidence to call an election 1 year out. Now, the whole Caribbean has been on an election footing in 2025. Let's go down the list. Anguilla was first, February 26th. Cora Richardson of the Anguilla United Front, AUF, defeated Dr. Ellis Webster, giving him 1 term, and she became the first female premier of Anguilla. Then it was Trinidad and Tobago, April 28th. Kamala Prasad Bisesa came in for a 2nd term at age 73, defeating Stuart Young, who had a very short time as Prime Minister. After all, he passed the baton to him. Jamaica, on September 3rd, Andrew Holness won his 3rd term, breaking the trend. Jamaicans normally give you 2 terms, then you're out. but he lost 18 seats. November 27th, Dr. Goodwin Friday defeated the longest-serving Prime Minister in the Caribbean, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, 14-0.
14-1.
14-1, sorry, with Gonzalez winning his seat. And then in St. Lucia, a couple of days after December 1st, Philip J. Pierre retained his prime ministership. They've had about 4 prime ministers who got one term. He got a second and so broke the trend. And then come to January over the weekend and Barbados. So there's no doubt about it that St. Kitts Nevis is already in an election mode. We're ready to go. What can the government of Nevis tell people to convince them for continuity? 13 years, a long time. 8 years, going on 9 years on a hospital. The country running on fumes. Where can they go?
Well, they've been trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all know where they've been trying to go. And Destiny was tapped as their savior. And I think they have hit a major roadblock in that regard. Listen, nothing that this government hasn't done in the last 13 years they'll be able to do in the next 5 years. And so...
The next...
In another 5 years.
Why 5 years? They're heading up.
No, I'm saying if
they're in their third year.
They're in their third year.
So they have 2 and
I'm talking about another term in government. In government.
Yeah, okay.
So I mean, really, even in another 2 years. So I mean, 5 years, 2 years, another dispensation. The reality is that the in the US, what they call him, lame duck. Practically, I don't see what they can tell. What is it that they told the people of Nevis the last election? Spoke about fair share. That was the emotional argument. They're running out of emotional arguments, and every election cycle, you get an emotional argument, and you see how the voting patterns for them decrease. And decrease. And we all know the results of the last election. Let us not fool ourselves on that particular issue. And so, for me, I don't see what it is that they can say to the people of Nevis that will give them a whisper of an opportunity to get another term based on what their performances have been like. And we have, as I said, we have seen how the votes and the voting demographics has swung. I mean, you can go back to Peter Wickham's last election result, and you saw how NRP had that upswing in
both elections, both federal and local. Yeah,
plus 3 percentage points in St. George. It was 6. So, for me, and maybe that is. Why there was so much to do and so much to say about Destiny, because I think the government saw a financial opportunity, and I think we have shared this many a times in terms of being able to put something significant on the infrastructural map that they can say we have done this for the people of Nevis, and so I honestly at this point I don't see what they can say and what they can do. I think as the party we're just readying ourselves, continuing the work in anticipation of that election call, whether it will be late this year, mid this year, or early in 2027. We continue to make an argument and make a case for ourselves, and so you can go back to Stephen, myriad of things that were promised. And so you have the issue of not delivering on promises. You have the issue of mismanaging of finances. You have the issue of, as you would have said, opportunity costs in certain areas, and what does that mean for our people? And then you have this major issue of Destiny, which is multifaceted in so many different ways. When you look at all the implications for such a development for the island of Nevis, and a lot of questions are being asked of us as well. And you know, even before we get to the Destiny project itself, there's so many consequences for small island of Nevis. When you talk about 10,000 jobs or thousands of jobs being available, we don't have the workforce capacity. So what is going to happen? You're likely to have an influx of trained and technical and skilled labor, and these people are going to need housing. They're going to have, they're going to have families. They're going to need to get into the education system. They're going to need health care. And so we haven't placed Nevis in a position to accept or to be able to accept a large influx of labor. And what is that going to mean? It means there's a potential to crash the system. You look at our schools, most of our schools, based on what the numbers should be, are at capacity, except for St. James's Primary and the Violet O. Jefferson Nichols Primary School, which are smaller schools in terms of the infrastructure as well. You have a struggling healthcare system. What does that mean for our people? And so these are all things the government should have considered. And if they were doing what they ought to have been doing in terms of ensuring that they like to band this word around, the good governance was being followed, we might have been in a better place in terms of seeing where they wanted to take us in terms of the Destiny project. And it goes on to look at things like machinery and skilled labor. When you look at the scope of work that is expected to be done on that particular side of the island, I mean, you tell me where the machinery on Nevis is to accomplish such. You talk about the skilled labor that is required to do such. Looking at the area to ensure that we are not interfering with any geologics over there. We're on Nevis, Mr. Manners. Maybe you can help me to point to where these professionals are on Nevis that are going to be able to secure those levels or those types of jobs to facilitate those things. And you, as I said, the list can go on and on in terms of the actual capacity. One, to accomplish what they want to accomplish, and two, the capacity to handle the expected population increase. Not a Destiny at the first instance, but the people that are expected to come here to do the work Destiny is expecting the division public to do. And so it's more questions than answers, and when you do get answers, these are answers that are not honest. They're not forthcoming with facts and giving the division public any kind of hope that things are going to get better. And so, you know, we look at all of those things and we ask one simple question: considering what was, are you better off than you were in 2026?
Okay, we've got a caller on the line. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, Mr. Mars. Maybe a couple of questions and see if you can answer me. Minister, see if you can answer me. How much project CCM right now got unfinished?
Too many to mention. Rohan, you want to try? You want to have a try at that?
Well, I mean,
hospital
is one.
Mondo Track 2
is one. Poultry farm.
Finished. I didn't even get off the ground good. Yeah.
So you have all of those, and I think even beyond those projects that they would have started is the groundbreakings of many other projects, or the promise of those projects.
Hotels.
The hotels, which I mean, 20 they would have delivered 2. You could.
Me can help, not because I'm not on the ground. Me can help.
Yeah, sure.
Geothermal.
Say that again.
Geothermal.
Me listen to Azad and the Asian show, and a very good friends. Some kind of say that them untrack with the geothermal.
Mm-hmm.
So Indians say, untrack how? He said they don't get funding and don't do studies. He says, Sam, studies no project, you know. You know, me listen to Mr. Manos?
No, I missed that. I missed that one.
No, I unfortunately didn't.
I must listen to the programs, man.
Yeah, we try, but sometimes we miss one here and there.
Yeah, you know. So, fair share. Fair share and project, you know.
That's a project. And fair share has moved down from 66 million to 40 something.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't know,
revenue sharing, so we're losing out on that.
I don't know what kind of fair share that is.
So it changed from fair share to revenue share. and one rob revenue share. You get me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let me just make a
let me ask you a question before you go.
Don't go yet. Yeah.
Right.
I saw, I think it was yesterday, my wife is Montserrat, so she showed me a press release from Montserrat. How long, or what is the timeline on the hospital that is being constructed there?
The timeline?
Yeah, how long is it supposed to take to construct?
Really and truly, we can ask a question, but I'll just say that at 24/7 they work, eh?
Oh, okay.
One company, Renard, some say Renew, some say Renard.
Mm-hmm.
They bring in, I think based on St. Lucia.
Oh, so yeah,
okay.
this all sounded French.
The man bring in, he workers on him. He bring in everything. And he got his own boat, everything, so shipping all the way for buy diesel and, you know, maintenance and everything. So he work, and stop work.
Yeah.
While one shift probably
another shift comes on at night.
Yeah. Then thing. So
yeah.
There's an on schedule. That's all we can tell.
Well, I mean, at the rate we are going here, you might be completed before we are.
Keep us posted on that and the progress there.
There's a man got so much money that sometimes the government have to call in to come with your money. Like his personal money, he's my use.
Okay.
You know.
Well, keep us updated on that.
Yes, no problem.
Okay, thank you. Now, he mentioned geothermal. Dr. Patricia Bartlett last week declared geothermal dead. I came up on an article a few days after. Eyewitness News is in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Dominica offers advice to countries considering geothermal energy. The minister responsible for the geothermal, which they should launch in March of this year, was giving advice to other countries. And let me just read a little bit of what he says. The article says, but the good news is it can work. We can get it done, but it will require the support of all of us around the table. So this was a stakeholders meeting on the development of geothermal worldwide. And I can see some partners here who've helped us along the way. Henderson told the discussion dubbed Geothermal Heat and Power, Building a Resilient Energy Backbone. After nearly 20 years of investment, including research, Dominica is preparing to begin commercial operations at a 10-megawatt geothermal plant in the Roseau Valley in March this year. And I invite you to read this article. Dominica offers advice to countries considering geothermal energy. It's a long article, but I just gave you a snippet. It has not been an easy time for Dominica, but they're getting close. The cost that we're hearing for the Nevis geothermal plant, we'll wait and see, because we're told that the driller has been selected. And sometime about March, we should begin to see some activity.
I mean, it is a very long process. I mean, just from that article alone, 20 years. And you know, one of the problems I have, the issues I have with how we release information here, we always seek to sensationalize in terms of you hear the drilling and you make it sound as if that is the end. Once we get the drilling done, and once the drilling is done, the project is good and ready to go, and we're far from it. And I think people need to understand that the money that the CDB and its partners would have approved is for drilling purposes, and drilling is just another phase, because you've got to go beyond that, and testing and approval and finding a well that is sustainable for the 10 megawatt that they're looking to do, and then we get to the money end of it. That plant. That is the business end, and I think that has always been the point where we seem to struggle to get the necessary financing in that area. And as you said, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, another pertinent question came up in another space was we're looking at a 50 megawatt solar farm in St. Kitts, and a 10 megawatt geothermal. That's a lot of electricity. What are we
going to do with that?
What are we going to do with that? And I think those are conversations that we ought to have. I can go back to the geothermal part. It is unfortunate, though, Steve, that something that was supposed to be uniquely Navision, something that was supposed to give a lot of hope to Nevis.
Let's take this caller. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Me not go fail to say campaign, you know. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, probably Carl Island can do the counting and give the 2 figure Thursday night. What do you think?
You mean of projects?
Yeah.
Oh, Carlisle got that lined up.
Yeah.
Nah, he keeps count of all those things, so he's listening, and he will give it to you on Thursday night for sure.
Okay. Me put him at the airport.
Oh, the airport. Yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah, ground was supposed to be broken for that in September, and then later this year. Well, the Premier has been avoiding media, but he has his press conference for the 27th. So when he come back from his trip,
Well, he has been known to postpone those too. So, I mean, I found it in general. What is happening in Spain? That the Premier.
I think he said he was invited to talk. Everybody wants a Premier to talk.
Right.
No, we've got 16 minutes, and let's spend that time focusing on St. Thomas's Parish. For a very long time, it has been a stronghold of the Nevis Reformation Party. Former Premier, the Honorable Joseph Parry, held that for over 30 years. I don't know if you have looked at it very closely, but in an election, there is likely to be a 3-person race in St. Thomas's Parish. Of course, there is an independent candidate, and Nevisians are not known to favor independent candidates. In fact, Peter Wickham made that comment when Miss Faria from Grenada was holding interviews with local politicians, that you're on a fool's run if you go off to be an independent. In fact, in the Leeward Islands, the only one I know was Antigua, Asset Michael. And he had bundles of money and had basically been the godfather of the St. Peter's constituency. God bless his soul, he's no longer with us. So you're likely to face a 3-person race in St. Thomas's. Unless, of course, the independent candidate realizes it's a futile run and steps aside. My bet is that the CCM would like to keep that independent candidate in the race as a spoiler.
Yeah.
What's your assessment?
Yeah, I mean, we made the assessment very early, since last year. Once we saw certain things coming to the fore, we made the assessment that was indeed what they were hoping, and are hoping that the independent will draw some votes to her and give cause or pause for the CCM candidate to believe there's victory for her. What has happened since then has been a little drawback in terms of the intensity in terms of support that the independent candidate would have had. Of course, it was fresh, and people were disappointed in certain regards as to what would have happened. And so really the task of the constituency group, the task of the candidate, the caretaker, is to ensure that we are bolstering our base, and to ensure that our base understands the facts of the situation that occurred, how they occurred and why they occurred, and to ensure that we are providing truth in situations that require that. And so we have to rally our supporters. And what is important is that there is much more of us in terms of the NRP supporters than there are of them. And in terms of those who would have voted, when you look at the numbers in the past, you compare the numbers JW would have accumulated in his dispensation as opposed to what recently you see that you didn't have that amount in terms of people voting in those elections. And so we have the task of, as former Prime Minister Douglas would say, to energize and mobilize. And so part of that is the house to house, part of that is to intentionally listen to what the concerns are, as I would say, on our walkthroughs, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent. And then we begin to highlight why NRP has always been right for St. Thomas's in terms of its development. When you look at the development across St. Thomas's, the NRP's DNA from end to end.
Four Seasons.
NEPAC, Four Seasons, road development, community centers. You talk about employment, youth skills development, you talk about programs. NRP consistently, when you're looking at projects that are impactful on its people, it has always been an NRP government, and we do our best to ensure that we share with the people in St. Thomas's, whether they vote in CCM or NRP, is that CCM has been in government longer than the NRP has been. But you look at the total impact of governance across St. Thomas's, it has always been an NRP. You know, people would say CCM did this and CCM did that, but you look at what was done and the value of what was done and when it was done and why it was done, because a lot of things are being done for political expediency. There's no real intent to provide any upward mobility for our people. There's no real intent to provide any movement for our people. I mean, you look at the representatives, the independent or the CCM candidate, and you look at what human impact has been given to the constituency. And I'm not talking about handouts, because we all know how those work. They are for a moment, they're just for a time. And so we have always shared that what we desire to do for our people is to ensure that we can assist in meeting at least 2/3 of their needs, and to provide a necessary platform for them to attain the balance there. That is what good governance calls for, and that is what I have based my campaign on. That is what I base my strategy on, in ensuring that people understand that I am not here to satisfy your urge for now. And even though I understand that the struggle is now, I want to be able to not just assist you in the now, but to assist you short term, medium term, with a hope that in the long term you're on solid ground, that you're on footing, firm footing. And so critical to our conversation, Steve, is ownership. And ownership, not just in the sense of home ownership or educational ownership, but business ownership. Because I understand what ownership brings to people. It boosts your morale. It gives you a sense of purpose and a sense of being. And once you have that particular feel about yourself, you become very productive. And in productivity, there is prosperity. In prosperity, there is peace. There is progress. It all goes back to the party's political mantra of peace, progress, and prosperity. And so the foundation of our conversation is, how do we assist you? How do we create plans and policies that lends itself to ownership? And we have had on our platform the continuous ideal that at least one individual per household should have a college degree. And we have even gone a little further to commit that one should be complementary of government. We have seen resources used in ways that benefit the select few. We can ensure that we are using resources that benefit a wider section of our people, that redounds to the benefit of communities, that will overspill into the productivity of the economy, and more people begin to benefit. So educational ownership, home ownership. How do we assist you? And I can use Barnsgate as a model. And the young people have, unfortunately, me included, have had to move out of a place we grew up and loved. And I remember as youngsters, we would always say, listen, we're not leaving Barnsgate for anything. Never that thought. And there are people, friends of mine and villagers who live in Barnsgate, who don't live in Barnsgate, who live abroad, who still have that ideal, that want to return home and to return to Barnsgate. But there is very few opportunities for
You're locked in the village, basically.
We had 2 spaces just below the village. When we asked the current government about the possibility of acquiring a particular lot, we were told that it was too expensive, and that it was quoted in US, and only to find out that it was far less and quoted in EC. And when you that was one part of it, and then on the flip side, these guys were seen with members of the CCM scouting the very land that the people of Barnsgate had hopes of extending their village. And so what we have now is just the lot that is to the left of that particular lot. And it is a conversation of how do we ensure that we can get that lot for whatever meaningful expansion of the village. And so it may require us to have a partnership in terms of what government can do, and that subsistence, and then as villagers you may have to take on the added, just to ensure that there is some continuity in terms of Barnsgate. Barnsgate is highly unique, and I can take an entire show and speak about Barnsgate. But how do we provide ownership, home ownership, land ownership? That is a conversation we are looking to have with our constituents, and to look at spaces where we can create different models of home ownership, home styling. Not everybody is going to want a 2-3 bedroom house with a nice front and backyard. Some people may be willing to accept townhouses and apartments. All those are ideas we are floating around to ensure that our people are owning homes. But there is more. That rent-to-home scheme is one that we believe will give a lot of our people, especially those at the lower end of the socioeconomic bracket, opportunities to own home. Because the money that they are spending on rent in current situations, they don't get it back. But our rent to home rent to own homes, the rent can be turned into 80% of that into a down payment for that particular housing opportunity to be yours. And Steve, if you want to say in 5 years, listen, I want to sell this and move on to something else, the opportunity is yours. You can do that as well. And this is part of the serious conversation we are putting forward with our people, and it is holding, and people are excited about it. And one lady said, the challenge is for you to deliver. And then I said, you'll have to get me there first. But ownership, that is we continue with that. And so educational ownership, home ownership, business ownership, and small business is the backbone of any economy, globally, regionally, and locally. And it is unfortunate that so many of our small businesses have not been given the benefits of what government has had to offer in terms of concessions. And I believe wholeheartedly that if we were to give our people, our small businesses, that serious level of interest, hear from them, what are their challenges, how do we assist in meeting those challenges, and be intentional about the schemes that are causing difficulties. And I'm talking about our tax regime, and we have long heard this argument about not being able to do anything at customs, and I believe it is a foolish argument. If there's a will, there's a way. And if it means you can bring a 3%, a 5% reprieve to people, they're going to be appreciative of that. And so, in my last dispensation in Gingerland, the Small Business Development Incubator, that was an idea that I had where we provide young people with opportunities to create businesses, meaningful businesses. And we are not just saying to come with an idea and we are going to give you $50,000 or whatever the case is. We are going to have that interest, that real interest in what is it you want to do. And the development, the incubator, as it suggests, goes through the rigors of the business, help you with market research and accounting and marketing. And it is a one-stop shop for all the things that you need to be successful in small business. And we're not just going to leave you after you would have started a business, because we want to ensure that you are making a profit before we begin the recollection of the people's money. And that is something that I want people to understand in the Small Business Development Incubator, is that it is the people's money. And I want to be able, if we are to approve $100,000, we are collecting $100,000. We are not looking to, as they would say, kill you and take much more off of you, but I want to be able to use that for somebody else. The success of the program is based on businesses' ability to repay. And so, as a government, as a ministry, as a department, as a minister, there is a vested interest in the success of these small businesses, because what is going to happen is these small businesses are going to hire one and two, and they may very well be family owned, and that is going to create a level of generational wealth. And so we are not just speaking about doing these things, we are looking at what the impact is going to be. I think anybody who knows me and knows my platform, I'm very heavy on family and what it means for families, and that is a source of income that families can use to create so many other things. Because Steve, if you have a successful small business, ownership explodes, because you can have home ownership, and now you can branch off into having multiple areas of educational ownership, because you have the financial stability in which to do it. And so the ownership idea is connected. It is not one in a vacuum. It is one that lends itself to opportunities in other areas. And so I'm always looking at where do I create policies and programs that are going to help women who lead families, We are going to create young people, opportunities to help young people, especially in this area. We are seeing young people having families now, and we want to be able to create that financial stability early. Our seniors as well. How do we assist our seniors? How do we care for our seniors? How do we ensure that our seniors are living their best lives, having contributed significantly to the nation's development? And so, in Kodak Road, an idea that, added to what I got from Gingerland. I don't know if you remember the mobile pharmacy idea in Gingerland. And one of the conversations critical is community nursing, and I want to shout out to our community nurses who continue to do their best. And one of the elders shared that, listen, community nursing was a community activity. You saw the nurses on a regular in the communities, and I can remember as a young boy, I can see the white and the blue, and I remember Nurse Jones and nursing assistant Patsy Fleming there, and there is an ask: do we get back to that, and how do we get back to that? And so that is a question for us: how do we facilitate the need for community nurses to do that, to get out there again, and people asking those types of questions. I can come full circle on healthcare. One of the things JD has raised and I have supported is and I think we are moving the conversation from health centers to medical centers, to give a new perspective on what we are wanting to do in terms of decentralizing certain services from the main hospital, and to ensure that the hospital focuses on the bigger issues, as we would say. And so medical center, and I think it was last year I had a conversation with a young architect who provided me with a rendering of a medical facility for St. Thomas's. And so that is there in the back pocket, as they would say. This is 2026, and medical challenges and the expectations of people in this particular era changes. And we want to be able to meet the demands and the expectations of our people. And so medical centers in different districts allows for our people to go and get basic care. Changing of bandage. If you have a flu or you have certain ailments, you can go to the medical center and get the very same treatment you would have gotten if you had to go to the hospital. And so that frees up the main hospital if you need to check your pressure, or it's a space where you feel comfortable doing it. Currently we our health centers are sharing spaces, and that should not be the case, and there are so many different reasons as why that shouldn't be the case. And you look at medical centers and so on, you realize that for most parts here, kind of in isolated spaces for particular reasons, and so we want to be able to provide those medical centers that is going to allow for longer operations. And so if you are in Cotton Ground and you had an accident, your first stop is the medical center within your district, and if there is a need for you to be sent to the general hospital, then you are sent there. So we are looking at how do our plans and policies impact the now, the short term, and the long term, so that when we get to a certain point in our development, we are not trying to catch up. We are actually ahead of the game, we are ahead of the curve, and we can continue to push forward. And so, as my slogan says, I am committed to putting you first. And in putting you first, ownership becomes the center of the conversation. And as I said, in our ownership, educational ownership, home ownership, land ownership, and small business ownership, those things that are connected, and those things that are going to provide a level of progress for our people, level of prosperity, and definitely a level of peace.
Well, you've been hearing for the last 95 minutes from the next representative of the great constituency of St. Thomas's. It's been NRP for a long, long time, and Rowan Isles plans to consolidate that. We'll be back next week at 5 minutes after 10. Hope you enjoyed our show. Join us again next week for another edition of Your Voice with the NRP. Good night.
Your Voice with the NRP. This and every Monday, 8:30 to 10 p.m. Join host Stephen Semanas and the NRP candidates as they amplify your voice.
Please allow 2020 Vision Radio